Okay guys, so in this video I'm gonna walk you through a personal project that I have called Cron. So let's get into it. Now, Cron is a bit of it's a fairly recent project. It's basically a port of an old project that I've had for a few years, and this is something that I need to give you a bit of context on this. So it was a while back where I found myself doing these things that I felt that I kind of needed to do, but I didn't do them because I wanted to, but rather because I felt that I needed to. And then I kind of got into this idea that maybe I could automate some of this work, and I started looking into it. And through this process, I finally came up with a few scripts that allowed me to automate some parts of my life, and that's basically what I'm going to show you today. This is not this is just a subset of the things that I've done so far, but I still use this application. It's still running today, and I get a lot of I get personal value from it. I might move over more features in the future, but this is probably good enough to kind of give you an insight into what a cron job is, or a scheduled job is, and the benefits of having one. So the idea behind a scheduled job is basically that you have something in operation, a program, something like that you need to run at some point in time. Basically, you want it to be a reoccurring thing. And this can be everything from a batch job to, you kind of just have to figure out yourself what you need to happen. But these are one of the perks of having programming skills, so you can actually schedule things. So for me, this is pretty much just a few of the base features that I find to be useful for myself. So here's my little Express server, and let's have a look at my source here, and here's my application. And basically all I have is two endpoints that I expose with a bunch of services up here that represent two different jobs that I want to be run. Now, one of them, this one here, is actually for a friend. He reached out and he had this kind of funny request where he asked, Frederick, I'm interested in having an email account, but I mean, I don't want to have to manually go in and check every day if it's available, basically. Now, I didn't have the heart to tell him that it's probably never going to be available, because it's not that often people change just delete their email accounts, but I told him I will help him out with this. So basically, what this job is about is to in reality just go to in this case it's Outlook, to go to that website and check if this name is available. And if it is available, we're going to send an email. And I'm also going to send an email every Monday to make sure that, to me, myself, and to him, to make sure that we are aware of that this job is still running, until such a time where either this is no longer needed, or until that name is actually available. And then I have my own personal favorite one, which is one that I've used for a long time. I like online comics, and I've only ported over a few of them right now, where basically, instead of having an RSS feed, I think it's much more convenient for me to have. So I have these basically these comics, all of them, compacted together and sent to me as an email. And that's pretty much it, really. So let's have a look at the way that I've structured this. So here are my services, as you can see, and basically these are just different services that are responsible for different things. So if we have a look at, say, let's have a look at Dilbert, because I enjoy reading the daily Dilbert. So this is my little service here, and basically all it does is exposing a single method, and I'm using Puppeteer for this. Now, the reason why I use Puppeteer is because Puppeteer is just a Google project. It is a headless browser. You can have a look at that package. It's out of the scope for this discussion of this little video of mine, but it's basically allowing me to simulate a browser. I just simulate a user connecting to a web page with the browser, and then I can run different operations. So all I do is that I start the browser, and basically I create a new page, and then I go to the main website, and I do some basic logging, and then I grab a selector of the element that I actually want to grab. and then I grab that element. I get the source property because this is the image of that the actual thing on the page. If we go here, we will see that, hey, this is the image that I'm actually after, so this is going to be updated pretty much every day. And all I need to do now is to get the property, the source of that image, and then I grab the JSON value of that, which is going to give me the text, like the URL, and then I return the text. And if any of this fails, I simply return an empty string. And another one that I like is commit strip, which is fairly similar to this, where basically I have another service that handles that integration. Now, the pattern that you're seeing right now is very similar to if you are working in a company that does a lot of integrations. Usually you have these services that are responsible for actually fetching or grabbing data, or in this case it's called screen scraping, some other web page and grabbing some information and then making that available in a standard format to the rest of your system. And it's, as you can see here, it's fairly much the same thing here, but basically all I'm doing here is that I am grabbing a new instance of the browser page, and then I'm grabbing the date of today, and then basically I'm just going to format the string in something that is in line with the URL structure on commit strip. So if we go to commit strip like this, like as an example, if we go and have a look at this page, you'll see here that this is where we land. And when I've landed there, I have these helper functions. So basically, I have this first thing, which is called click first section section anchor, which is going to get the selector, and it's going to basically just click this element and wait for the navigation of clicking that. And that's going to be this element here. So I click that, and here I am on the main page with this little comic that I enjoy reading. And that brings me to the next section, which is going to be to get the first image URL. And I'll do the same thing here. It's going to grab this image and return the URL to that image. And then finally, we have this comic service, which is this little thing here, which is going to take in a few dependencies here. And it has a single method, and all it's going to do is that it's going to go to the web pages, or use these other services to go and scrape these websites, grab the URLs to the stuff that I actually want, resolve that, and do some basic logging, construct some basic HTML, and then use my Mailgun service, then send me an HTML email. And that's the entire flow. So that's about it, really. And I run this on a daily job. So every day at a specified time, I get an email with 2 of my favorite comics, and I add more comics as I find new ones that I actually want. And that gives me this flow where I pretty much have my email box becomes my RSS feed, if you will. And it allows me to do other things as well. I mean, I can add anything I want into this. I have other botting systems that I use. I mean, I've automated my own LinkedIn profile as well, where basically my bot, this cron job, basically took care of everything from accepting invitations to connecting with people and doing all this good stuff. So there's very little. I mean, you can do quite a lot with just some basic coding skills and a scheduled job. If we have a look at, say, the Outlook service, it has 2 services. So we have the actual Outlook service, which is fairly similar, where it just goes to the sign up page and then it grabs the selector, and it's going to type into the selector, which is going to be the member name, and otherwise it's going to try to register a new domain name, or like a new username, and it's going to type in that, and then basically it's going to try to sign up. And after that, I just had this little wait for response handler, which is going to wait for a response that has a URL that includes this endpoint call, or this network call. Check available sign-in names, and because I've already gone to the page and I've seen that that's actually the AJAX call on that web page that is going to return the information that I need. Is going to say if this name is available or not. And then I just parse that into JSON and I return is available, because that's the Boolean value that's going to represent if this name is available. And then I create another wrapper around this, which is just this little email service here, where I take in my services, and then I have send this method, send name available email. It's just going to take in a message, and it's going to send whether or not this is actually available to my friend. Or rather, when this is actually available, it's going to send the message to my friend. Well, it's just a function that sends the message, basically. And then I have my little reminder email, which is also going to take in a message and basically just send that message to me and my friend. And that's about it, really. And that's kind of where you saw here that I actually have this little thing where, all right, so in this job here, I'm just going to grab the names that he's interested in having, and then I'm going to check if they're available. Create this message template string here, log that message out, check if it's Monday. If any of these messages are available, I'm going to send a availability message to my friend. And if it is, otherwise, if it is Monday, I'm simply going to send a reminder email that, hey, this job is still running, so that if he doesn't care anymore, I can just tear this down, right? Now, I'm running all of this through Google Cloud, but let's just first look at the way that I structured my services. So the way I like to have this, because there's going to, I mean, depending on how many services that you have, this can grow to be quite big. So it's important to have a good structure, and I found this to be a very good structure in general. And this is actually very much in line with the sort of structure you see in enterprise applications, and a structure that I actually use at work as well for integrations that I use professionally. So just declaring all these services, and then you can see here that some of these services don't have any dependencies, and some of them are depending on other services, and then that way you can compose them together and export all the stuff that you actually need. So all of this, I mean, you could run this on your local laptop if you wanted to, but the way that I've done it is that I use a free tier account on Google Cloud, and basically all I do is that I declare the runtime that I need, and this is the app.yaml. You can go and read up on that if you want to. And then I declare my cron jobs, which is basically this, which is a service that Google provides, or the Google GCP platform is going to provide us, which is going to allow me to basically just call, or that they're going to have an external process that on a schedule calls my little application here. And that's about it. So every day at 8 o'clock, I'm going to check if the Outlook names are available, and then I'm going to get my comics at every day at 12. And as I add more of these automations to my little cron project here, I can automate more parts of my life. I've done many things in the past, as I said, automating social media. I've automated looking for an apartment, things of this nature. And in the future, I'm very likely going to automate grabbing subscriber questions or automate my YouTube account, things of this nature. So with just a little bit of coding skills and a free account on Google Cloud, you can actually start automating a lot of these, things that you do but you don't necessarily want to do them, and have a computer take care of it for you. So hopefully you found this to be an interesting side project. Have a great day.